It's me or does it. A 5-year-old enters a mall with his parents or her parents. The 5-year-old sees candy. The 5-year-old wants candy. Do you think the 5-year-old is thinking about nutrition for his body? I'm using a middle example now. Do you think the 5-year-old is thinking about what is good for his teeth development? Do you think the 5-year-old is thinking about too much sugar that may lead to diabetes? No. The 5-year-old doesn't have the mental capacity to comprehend nor understand what all that sugar will do to him. That's why you have the parents, the other adults, even some older people there, maybe teenagers, who can slow down the child saying, no. No candy for you, enough. Now, a 10-year-old may think, you know what, I do want to eat some candy, but I'd rather not eat too much candy because it may even hinder me from eating dinner. Someone that's 25 thinks, hey, all that sugar, scientific research has shown that it's bad for you, I'm not doing that. So 5 years old, 10 years old, 25 years old. Now there's a big difference between a 5-year-old and a 25-year-old, I know. As there's a big difference between a 10-year-old and a 25-year-old. What I'm pointing out here is that your perception of a situation depends on your past experience and also depends on, to some extent, on your age. A child will perceive something in a different light than an adult. Now, and even if you're an adult, let's say you're 20 years old and you're involved with some quote-unquote friends. At 30 years old, you may reflect back and think, whoa, we were wasting time all the time, only playing video games, smoking weed all day long, and getting drunk. Now at 30 years old, you're an adult at 30 years old. You look back at when you were 20 years old as an adult and you think, that may not have been the best idea. So forget about child versus adult. Even as an adult, there are times you don't perceive things in its completeness. And I don't expect you to because you're a human being. That's why we reflect, we examine, we ask for feedback. So look, sometimes you don't see things as clearly as they are. You do see the things happening around you. For example, let's say your wife asks for a divorce. Now, you know what goes on. She asks for a divorce. Your marriage is falling apart. Now you're going to be a divorced man. Now you may have to divide the care for the children. So you think, well, what's going on over here? An outsider may see, and the outsider doesn't even have to be an adult, can also be someone in their teens, can see the situation and think, why are these two people even together? Why is this woman so toxic? Now, you may be 30 years old or 35, and someone may be 16, 17, or 18 years old, and they can clearly see your wife is toxic. And they ask themselves, how did she end up with this woman? Now, after the divorce, or maybe 5 or 10 years later, you look back and think, whoa, why was I with this individual? Why? Because you had issues that were unresolved. And because you had unresolved issues, your perception was contaminated. And that's why when you were far younger, you perceived your ex-partner as the best that happened to you. Now, after you went through the divorce, that you think, what the heck was I thinking? But an outsider could see it quicker than you did. Now look, I'm not saying to doubt your perception by default. No, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you to be paranoid or any of that. Just realize that your perception might be influenced either by the past or by unprocessed issues, or simply for the fact that you're not able to perceive everything in its completeness. Now, even if there are issues in the past, or even issues from the past, or even if there are unprocessed issues in the present, that doesn't mean that your perception is automatically wrong. It simply means that certain things you don't perceive directly. For example, if you have an embodiment issue and you're involved with certain people, because your embodiment issue, you may not notice that these people are not good for you. You may notice red flags, but you brush them off because you think, oh, it's not that bad. So your perception matters. It does. It absolutely matters. But understand, sometimes an outsider perspective is also important, because the outsider may notice things you don't. The outsider may not notice things that you notice. They may notice other things that you're not noticing. Now, am I saying you have to rely on outside perspectives? No. You should rely on the Heavenly Father, who sees and knows everything. However, in daily life, getting constructive feedback or sometimes an outside look into a situation may help you out more than you realize. So don't rely on your own understandings if you need to figure out everything by yourself. Be humble, be willing to be instructed, and be willing to be led by the Holy Spirit. Well, that's it for now. Keep on growing with Christ and be at peace.